येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। येन धौता गिरः पुंसां विमलैः शब्दवारिभिः तमश्चज्ञानजं भिन्नं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। अज्ञानान्तस्य लोकस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। Okay, we completed this Rasvasya Piti Krititak, and the next sutra is Samhitayam. Before we going to this sutra, let us study what is Samhita. It is given by the another sutra, Parasanikarsha Samhita. Paraha Sannikarshaha Samhita. Paraha Sannikarshaha Samhita. Paraha means the all the words are in Prathama Vibhakti, Ekavachana. Paraha means the extreme or highest. Sannikarshaha means closeness or neighborhoodness. Samhita, it is called as Samhita, the extreme closeness. There should be no gap. The extreme closeness between two letters. It is understood. Between two letters is what is called as Samhita. For example, let us consider the word na. Na means no or not. It is made up of, it is composed of two letters, nakara and akara. But we don't pronounce them as n, a. We pronounce it as na. That na pronunciation will be due to the extreme closeness between nakara and akara. If there is no samhita, then we will pronounce that as n, a. But by samhita, we pronounce that as na. Consider na and asti. In na, yes, we know there are two letters, nakara and akara. In asti, there are four letters, akara, sakara, takara, ikara. In all the four letters, we pronounce them together. So we say there is samhita between each letter in those four letters. So when we consider the akara of na and akara of asti, the last letter of the first word and the second letter of kshamyatam, the first letter of second word. Here is there is samhita. Is there samhita? There can be samhita. There may not be samhita. If there is samhita, then there will be some change. If there is no samhita, we pronounce them separately. Na asti. If there is samhita, always and those two rasva combine to form dirghaha by akassa varne dirghaha. So only when there is samhita. If there is no samhita, it is fine to pronounce them as na asti. It is also correct. Nasti, when there is samhita between those two letters. So when there is samhita between two letters, some change, some varna vikara will happen. That is what is called as sandhi. The change that happens, happens, that varna vikara that happens is called as sandhi, and the extreme closeness, which is the reason for that sandhi, is called as samhita. So when there is no samhita, it is na asti. If there is samhita between those two letters, the last letter of the first word and the first letter of second word, if there is samhita between those two letters, then there will be some varna vikara, the change in the letters. So that is called as sandhi, and we get nasti in this case. When the samhita is compulsory and when it is optional, it is given by this karika. संहितैकपदे नित्या नित्या धातूपसर्गयोः नित्या समासे वाक्ये तु विवक्षाम् अपेक्षते संहिता एकपदे नित्या in ekapada in a single word samhita is nitya. It means nitya means compulsory always. Nitya dhatu upasargayoho between a dhatu and upasarga it is compulsory. Nitya samase in samasa it is compulsory. Samasa usually two or more words combined to form a single word. There also samasa is compulsory. वाक्ये तु सा विवक्षाम अपेक्षते वाक्ये in sentence sa means here samhita vivaksham the wish to pronounce the wish to speak apekshate requires so it is up to the speaker whether to have samhita or not. We can either say na मम समीपे पुस्तकं न अस्ति मम समीपे पुस्तकं नास्ति. Either way the speaker can pronounce. So वाक्ये तु सा विवक्षाम् अपेक्षते एकपदे धातूपसर्गयोः मध्ये समासे च सा नित्या. Let us go one by one. संहितैकपदे नित्या एकपदे संहिता नित्या. For example, consider the word nayanam. This nayanam has 7 letters: nakara, akara, yakara, akara, nakara, akara, makara. So since it is a single word, nayanam is a single word. It is not two words. Naya is not word, nam is not a word. Nayanam as a whole is a single word. So within a single word, it is always compulsory to have samhita. We cannot pronounce naya, nayan, like that. We should not pronounce because samhita ekapade nitya. Within a word, samhita should be there always. Consider this example of nayanam, how it is derived. It is derived from the dhatu ni by adding krut pratyaya, lut. Su is the pratama vibhakti ekavachana pratyaya, supratyaya. So in lut lakara takara it u remains. By u or anakav, u always gets converted to ana. At this stage lut is a ardha dhatuka krut pratyaya. So by ardha dhatuka sarvadhatuka ardhadhatuka yoho there will be gunadesha of the anga ikarasya gunadesha ekaraha. So ne ana so. At this stage there is no sutra which tells there should be some other prakriya like that at this stage. So just we have to combine all the letters here. No further sutras applicable. So here, since the whole ne plus ana plus so represents a single word, there should be samhita among all these words. Since it is a single word, ne is not a single word, ana is not a single word, so is not a single word. None of them are ekapada. So the whole of this is qualifies to be called as ekapada. So within ekapada, within a word, there should be samhita. So there should be samhita between ekara of ne and akara of ana here. So when there is samhita, samhitayam, there is a sutra under samhitayam which we are going to study. Echo yavayavaha ekarasya I adeshaha achipare. Ekara will undergo I adesha when it's followed by ach letter. Here ekara is there, so here ach is there. So there is samhita since it is a single word. So samhitayam satyam एकारस्य ऐ आदेशः भवति, ने becomes नै. So nai ana su. So nai ana, if we combine all those letters, it becomes nayana plus su. Su is the supratyaya, and adding supratyaya there will be some changes, and the final form will be nayanam. So here, since it is a single word, there should be samhita. Since there is samhita, the echo yavayavaha is applicable. This is about samhitaikapade nitya. In ekapada, samhita is nitya. Nitya dhatupasargayoho. Between a dhatu and a upasarga, there will be samhita, which is always compulsory. Parikshate. Let us consider the example. Parikshate. There are 22 upasargas. We shall study in detail about upasargas in some later classes. Pari is one of them. Ikshate. Ikshate is pratama purusha atmanepadi ekavachana form in latlakara for the dhatu iksh. Iksh. There is iksh here, and it is pari is upasarga. So here the last letter of the upasarga is e. The first letter of the dhatu is e, and by this karika nitya dhatu upasargayoho, between a dhatu between a upasarga and a dhatu, there will be samhita always. So samhitayam satyam. When there is samhita, ikarasya ikare pare, savarne pare, there will be dirghadesha by akas savarne dirghaha. Akas savarne dirghaha is also under samhitayam adhikara. So when there is samhita, there will be replacement of ikara and ikara by dirgha ikara. So it will become parikshate. If there was no samhita, if samhita was not compulsory, there it would have been parikshate, but it is not correct. It is not right to write them separately like parikshate, because between a upasarga and a dhatu, samhita should be there always. So since there is samhita, akasavarne dirghaha is applicable, and there will be dirghadesha, and we get parikshate. Nitya samas parikshate. Here e and e to form, they combine to form parikshate. Nitya samase. In samasa it is compulsory. Consider the example devalayaha. It is formed by the samasa, tatpurusha samasa. Devasyalayah, devalayaha. Here two words are there, deva alaya. We cannot write them or pronounce them as deva alaya. Deva represent some entity, alaya represents some entity, but when you combine them to form the word devalaya, that devalaya represent altogether different entity. So we cannot have deva and alaya separately. There should be samhita between those two words. When there is samhita, there can be sandhi. It doesn't mean whenever there is samhita there should be some sandhi, because sometimes there may not be any change that can possible, but samhita should be there. Samhita means the letter should be pronounced without any gap between them. Okay. Deva alaya. So there should be samhita between akara and akara, again savarna dirgha, and devalaya. Then vakye tu sa vivaksham apekshate. Vakye, in a sentence, tu, but sa samhita, vivaksham, the wish to speak. Vivaksha is the sananta form. Sanadi prati. Sananta form of the dhatu vach. Vivaksha, the wish to speak. Apekshate is required, is wanted, is desired. For example, consider the example of pachami annam. These two are different words, two different words. Pachami is a pada, annam is a pada. Pachami annam. Now we can pronounce these two words with a gap between them. Pachami annam, like that. It is up to the speaker to decide whether to pronounce them with samhita or without samhita. When samhita is there, if you wish to pronounce them without a gap between ikara of me and akara of annam, then when there is samhita, then samhitayam adhikara comes into the picture and the appropriate sutras have to be applied by ikoyanachi ikarasya yakara deshaha achipare. By ikoyanachi, the ikara of makara, sorry, ikara of pachami gets change to yakara, so it becomes pachamyannam. So we can either pronounce it as pachamyannam or pachami annam. Both are correct in a sentence. Both are valid forms. So coming to the sutra in the sequence, samhitayam. So this is an adhikara sutra. All the sutras that follow these sutras are applicable only when there is samhita, is the meaning of this sutra. Samhitayam. Usually the adhikara sutras will be in saptami, but it is not compulsory. The next sutra is checha. The next one is angmangosha, like that up to paraskara prabhuti nicha sangnayam 61157. Up to these that sutra, all the sutras are applicable when there is samhita between two letters. So we shall take the first in the list, checha. Che cha. Che is the saptami ekavachana of cha. Cha is avyaya. So when it is followed by chakara is the English translation of this sutra. So we have to take the anurutti from the previous sutras to make it sense. Rasvasya from rasvasya pitikruti tuk from the same sutra. Rasvasya pitikruti tuk. So अन्वयः rasvasya che cha tukko. Che cha tukko means the rasva letter gets the tugagama when it is followed by chakara is the meaning. In the previous sutra rasvasya piti kruti tukko, that cha there was the nimitta was pit krut pratyaya. Pit krut pratyaya. Here the nimitta paranimitta is chakara. In both the cases, in rasvasya piti kruti tukko and checha, the rasva letter gets the tugagama, but there the nimitta was pit krut pratyaya. Here the nimitta is chakara. So whenever rasvaswara is followed by chakara, and if there is samhita, only, then this tugagama will happen. If there is no samhita, it will not be. But in rasvasya pitikrutik, the samhita was not required because epitkrit pratyaya during this prakriya krudanta there will be samhita compulsory. There will be compulsory samhita because they were not a single word. They were not padas. For example, in derivation of any krudanta, there will be samhita between all the letters because the whole component becomes pada. So anyway, there will be samhita. But here, sometimes there may be samhita, there may not be samhita. So this tugagama will be applicable only when there is samhita between rasvaswara and chakara. Rasvasya checha turko. Like this, rasva letter will be there, which is followed by chakara. Then there will be tugagama for the rasva letter. Consider the samasa of swasya chaya. Swasya means own, chaya, chaya, shadow. Swasya chaya, the own shadow. when we make the samasa out of these two words, consider the prakriya. Swasya is the shashti ekavachana of swa. So swa plus nas pratyaya. Chaya is the pratama ekavachana of the word chaya. So I have written them separately. So when we are going to do that samasa, the supratyayas within the samasika words, the words which combine to form the samasa, no, in those words, the supratyayas which were there, they will get deleted. So only uh, pratipadikas remain, swa plus chaya, and we know that there will be samhita in samasa, samase nitya. So it is a samasa. So there is samhita compulsory between swa and chaya. That is the last akara of swa and the first chakara of chaya. So since there is samhita, here rasva akara is followed by chakara. So samhitayam checha tuk. So rasvasya tuk agamaha. And in tuk only takara remains, and takara gets converted to chakara. It is chutva sandhi. Then by combining the letters we get swachaya, swachaya. This is about che cha. Okay, this is for today. Dhanyavadaha.